What is going on, YouTube? I am here doing somewhat of an unboxing of the Victrix Pro FS 12 hitbox style arcade stick. I had to get this stick because I have the original hitbox with a few modifications. I forgot what the name of it is. I'll probably put it into the link below. But I wanted to put in a drop-in, kind of a WASD like arrow thing. And for me, this is nice. This kind of got me started with the whole idea of like using buttons to move. However, for me, my hands are kind of big. So when using this, my fingers kind of trip over themselves whenever I'm using it. I eventually got used to it. Things got really easy to use. So for me, it was a matter of wanting to try out the hitbox setup, and I liked the Victrix controller. So once I saw that they were doing a hitbox version of this controller, I was like, you know what? I need it. On top of the fact that a few of my buttons stopped working up here, and that's my fault. I did a lot of Frankenstein work to this to get it going. I can't even begin to explain what I've done to it and why it still works, but I mean, the most that I can get to do is power on and play games, but things like practice mode and like pausing, replaying and things like that just stop working and don't work. The stick is kind of old. It's one of the original ones that came out, so it was time for an upgrade. And so here she is in all her glory. I know Nihongo Gamer did a deep dive into the arcade stick, so what I'm going to do is actually kind of just give more of like a first impressions on hitbox. I know it's all the rave right now as far as like doing easier inputs and things like teching, being able to like backdash with just buttons. So I'm curious to see how this goes. So a little bit of an unboxing, but most of it's going to be just like a beginner's experience with hitbox. So man, I'm excited for this one. Now these went on sale around the time of Evo. They weren't shipping them out until last month, like before the 30th, if you pre-ordered already. So I finally got mine, and dear, this already feels interesting. Oh my God, this feels so interesting. Like I'm really excited to try this out. Now, buttons, I will say the buttons on here for my attack buttons essentially are smaller, so that'll be something to get used to. But dear God, like this whole hitbox, like just even touching it, I already feel like it's going to be a little difficult to get used to at first, but I feel like once I do, man, it's going to be nice. Damn, this is crazy. So as they went over, pretty sure you've seen all the other videos of this hitbox being presented, but I finally have a hitbox that has the touchpad on the front. I really wanted that. I think when I bought the other one, they had just dropped the regular Victrix with this, and I was like, damn it. Like, if I just would have waited a little longer. But you know, your usual layout, your usual buttons. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in just so you can see the colors and stuff that we're used to. What I'm hoping for, and what I'm assuming is gonna happen, they're more than likely gonna come out with more colors. You know, they kind of sell you on it. First they come out with some simple ones, and then it's just like, damn, you really want that original Victrix color? Well, bam, here we go. Here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that. So you got your Pro button. Honestly, I'm still learning what a lot of these buttons do. I know one of these is for the color, like the pulsing and things like that. You have your chat button and things like that. I kind of wish they still had the extra buttons at the top dedicated for L3 and R3. From videos that I've seen about it, you have to program the buttons and swap them out, which I feel like is a lot of extra work, unnecessary extra work to have to do. So I kind of wish they kept like a dedicated L3 R3 button. That's probably, if anything, if I had any kind of gripe about it already, just from what I've seen about it, I'm just like, that's probably like my only thing. But at this. Now this was what I was curious to see. I don't think anyone ever really showed it, but I was curious to see because in the other Victrix, you see where the analog or the controller is. So because everything is all buttons, I was kind of wondering what the layout was going to look like. And it's fairly the same, really simple. Just now you have more buttons. Of course, you have your PC switch, which I'm going to go ahead and switch it to PC right now because I primarily play my fighting games on PC. But yeah, here she is. And it already feels like premium. It feels nice. I really like it. Really excited. I was hoping I could get a darker color, mainly because I'm afraid of like the scratches and things like that really showing on this all white one. So I'm going to do my best to take care of it. This was more of a gift than anything, so I definitely want to make sure that I take care of this. Man, I'm excited to try some games out with it, and we're getting to that real quick. Okay, so here we are on Melty Blood Type Lumina, and this has honestly been one of the most fun anime 2D fighting games that I've been playing as of lately. This has definitely made playing this game a lot more fun than it already was, and some things significantly easier. One of the things being that, just like in Tekken's with Korean backdashing, I would tend to overshoot or undershoot the DP when I played on a traditional stick. And man, it got frustrating to the point where it was just like, okay, I was sitting for hours in training mode, just trying to get my timing right and placement, and I was like, all right, cool, I got it. But when I go online, shit's out the window, and I'm just like, dude, I don't get it. And I'm pretty sure there's something with me. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it's just match jitters, whatever the hell, but it was very inconsistent. And since switching to an all button directional layout, man, it was easier to hit the things that I knew I was trying to hit, that I knew I could hit. And I'm probably, I'll probably still play stick here and there just for the hell of it. This is because I do, I spent all the money on that golden lever. I really do like it. I still want to get some use out of it and things like that. But this is just so much easier for me to do. And man, like I really like it. Like I really one of the things, once again, that I had to get used to, similarly to Tekken, when it, in a sense where instead of obviously sidestepping, right, left or right, was jumping, jump cancels, right? So you do the up forward motion, and more or less it was more of just the getting used to the idea that, hey, jump or up is the button on the bottom, which naturally for me feels like down. So for some people that may be an obvious thing, but for others may not, whatever. I just thought I'd throw it in there. But it was definitely one of those things where it was just like, it was definitely a lot harder to do than I initially thought. And eventually, once I got over it and I was able to get through it, it was cake. It's just sometimes every now and again I may try and jump cancel with down up as opposed to forward jump. So just something to get used to, but ultimately nothing that won't be solved with a little bit of practice and muscle memory and things like that. But even that, I feel, doesn't trip me up as much as, like, I'm not sure what it was like certain times when doing half circles on certain games. I'm not sure if this game has full half circles. I know they have quarter circles, but I'm not sure they have half. But I know, like, doing half circles and stuff like that are just significantly easier. I know what I'm pressing and it comes out like exactly the way I want it to. So now it's more, once I get used to it, a timing thing, right? That definitely goes to show that I don't think this is one of those things where you pick up a hitbox and automatically you are just OD, like you're nasty, right? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some practice, just like literally anything else. Much like any like weapon, right? Just because you pick up a weapon that happens to be really good doesn't mean that you yourself are going to be really good at it. And same thing I think goes for characters. Just because a character happens to be that busted doesn't necessarily mean that you yourself are going to be just destroying people at tournaments or whatever with said character, right? There are certain things that you have to learn. I mean, you see it all the time. So, but yeah, no, I definitely have a lot more fun playing this game now that I have this as well, especially since now that I don't have that issue with hitting the wrong thing at the wrong time, right? So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have some gameplay, put it at the end of the video, and kind of give some more thoughts on the arcade stick, right? Okay, so I wanted to wrap up this video starting off with, I love the stick. I really do love it. I love that the buttons are a bit more spread out. than they are on the Odin V2 that I have on my old Victrix. It makes me feel like I have a lot more movement and freedom when it comes to hitting buttons and things like that. I am, like I mentioned before, still getting used to the size of those buttons. I'm so used to the 24, no, not 24, I believe they're 30 millimeter attack buttons, and I have to use the 24 if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's overall fun. Like, besides hitting up when I want to hit X and things of that nature, it's a really fun experience. I really do enjoy it. My fingers and hands don't feel as cramped as they did using the Odin V2. I was kind of waiting for the Loki, the Odin, the Omni Arcade Loki, and essentially it's a hitbox layout. I was kind of waiting for that because they spread out the buttons. It's still a drop-in, so I got to keep my old arcade stick, but it's a drop-in and in the shape of a hitbox. And I was like, oh man, that's something that I was really waiting for. It just kind of seemed like it was taking a minute, and I know they have like a small team and they do really good quality work. This is the second Odin that I bought, the version 2, so I really do enjoy their product. But I saw the Victrix hitbox and I got to do it. After playing with it since Monday, it doesn't collect as much grime and dirt and things of that like that as much as I thought it was going to. It's pretty nice. I do like it. The feel of it has kind of like a rough texture. I'm not sure if you saw on my original Victrix, they have the lines on that kind of outer case steel running from left to right, whereas on the new Victrix, this one, and I'm not sure if they did it for the other Victrix that came out with the touchpad on them, but I know for this one it has kind of like a rough, kind of rigid texture on it on the finish, and I think I prefer that better. I get afraid sometimes, like rubbing my hands on my old Victrix, that I'm gonna cut myself. But other than that, like, this is small little gripes. Like, I still wish that they would have kept dedicated buttons for L3 and R3 when it comes to recording sequences, and I might be practicing in training mode and playing them. I have to switch those buttons out if I want to use it. So I find myself just recording, at least for Melty Blood, recording manually, pressing practice, going in and recording the sequence, and then pressing play with the button. I don't know how many other games have that as an option, but if they don't, I'm stuck with switching the buttons out every time I want to do that. Not something that's really difficult. I don't use that feature as often, but it's something that you will have to deal with if you get this stick and you do use that feature. But overall, I have fun using this stick. It's still going to take some practice. I've only had it since Monday. Definitely going to be doing some more fighting games, things like this. I really enjoyed this. If you made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate you. Won't you consider going to my channel, subscribing, turning on the notifications? I do stream on YouTube, and now that I have a new arcade stick, I will be streaming more fighting games, and I hope to see you in the shadows.